What's up, my funky falafels? I'm Bobmcplay.
And I'm Dadooine.
And together, we're the
Orange
Team! Orange Team! In this video, I will be breaking down the 3 biggest tips to help my dad get better with the Peacemaker matchup, and hopefully they'll help you too.
This is the first in our series on how to beat videos. We are going to hopefully get through the whole roster at some point, and my son, Bobmcplay, if that's really his name, is going to teach me one character at a time so I can get better and better.
Yeah.
Why are we starting with Peacemaker, kid?
I don't know, you tell me.
Because I don't like him. I don't like his attitude, I don't like his face, and I don't like his moveset. So whenever I face him, I start off and I'm already angry. So I need to get better. He also happens to be your main.
Yeah.
Alright, so let's get into it.
Before we dive into the tips, a couple things I want to go over. He has no overheads and like no regular buttons. It's just anti-gravity and jump in attacks.
Okay, so I can always just duck.
You can always be low
I know he has lows like the gun.
Yeah, so like his pokes are pretty long ranged, his sweep is pretty long ranged.
But you can basically always duck and block unless he has like a scorpion or something.
Yeah, the last thing that if you don't know, it's pretty important to know, his fatal blow.
And that's a low.
It's a low, so just know that. Alright, now it's time to go into the 3 tips.
Let's jump into the tips. First tip, what do I need to know?
Tip number 1. So, his main mix-up string. I feel like that's like the most important thing to cover first when you're learning the matchup. Because like, if you're going into this brand new, you should learn how to deal with this. So, the string starts with 2-2. It looks like this. Like 2 quick punches in a row. You got that?
Got it. 2 quick punches.
Yeah, so half of these he has 2 ending options. He has 2-2 grab, which is 1 plus 3, or 2-2 4. So let's just hold block the entire time. The grab grabs you through it, just like how if you're normally stand blocking and I grab, it will grab you through it. So naturally, how do you counter that? You duck. So after the 2-2, I want you to duck. But you have to block the 2-2 first. So what's the other ending? It's 2-2-4, which looks like this. Which you can easily block. So why would I go for it if you're just going to block? Well, if I think you're going to try and duck under the grab part, I can throw this as a mid. So let's see how that goes. Duck under the grab.
Ooh.
The mid hits you.
I didn't even have time to get down.
Found it. Just like that.
Alright.
So, how can you counter that? A, you can block, but then there's the risk of getting grabbed. So,
because if I'm duck blocking, I'll get grabbed.
Exactly. So, what if there was a way to, like, block or, like, counter both of these options?
Oh, is there?
There is. So, Shao has a really good armor, and he can armor right after the 2-2. So, no matter what option I do, your armor's gonna go through. So, let's try the 2-2 grab. Armor goes through. Let's try 2-2-4. Your armor goes through.
Feel stronger already. Alright, so when I see the 2-2 punches, I block them and then I armor through, and that cuts through either branch of the mix-up. But what happens if I'm out of meter? I can't armor.
So what I would recommend is always ducking, because what happens when I grab you is I get a full combo. And I don't even need Serena to do this. I can do it with Enhanced Sonic Boom. But this is just an example. So I get an entire combo, but when you duck under it, the option that you're risking getting hit by is a kick, which does a little bit of damage, but like it's not the end of the world if you get hit by. It doesn't start a combo, exactly. I mean, like, I can with Scorpion and stuff, but like really it's not that.
So big message, 2-2 punches, block them, armor through the 3rd attack. If you don't have meter, just duck, no block, take the kick.
Yeah. And sometimes they'll go for the grab, and then you get a full combo punish just by being smart. So that's always nice.
Brilliant. Alright, are we ready for tip number 2?
I think we are. Tip number 2.
What do you got for me now,
Alright, one of Peacemaker's strings that I absolutely love is this forward 4-1-2. Just like this. Forward kick, like nice and heavy into like shoulder, into an uppercut, which can combo like in the corner, something like that. Alright, now let's see what happens when I do it on block. you can punish it. And you can probably see the punish came up on screen. And you get a full combo punish, so that's fun.
Minus 20.
Minus
Not so
20
good.
it is. So yeah, you can do a lot of stuff. Like, if your character has a launcher, you'll probably have time to do it. Alright, do you want to try punishing it one more time for me?
Cool. Let's see what
I
happens.
got a little trick up my
Oh,
sleeve.
great. Oh! Alright, couldn't hit any buttons.
So he couldn't hit buttons fast enough, and my eagly came out. So let's see what happens when you block eagly. Minus 5. Look at the pushback, and it did 4% of his health.
On block.
On block.
A lot of chip.
So that's not bad. That's not bad at all. So Peacemakers, they can just do this whenever they have eagly. I can just come in, because this string is pretty forward advancing, even if I miss the first hit. And that time I didn't have eagly, but it's still good. Is he yawning?
He just yawned. Yeah.
He just yawned.
Rude.
This is why you don't like Peacemaker. That's funny. So yeah, it has great pushback. It's a nice string and good chip damage. So let's see how you can counter. So now let's see what happens when you armor and I go for eagly.
Ah, okay, so there's a little bit of a gap that I can get through.
Yeah,
Okay.
so you beat through eagly.
And I can't combo off of that because it breaks my armor, but
You get more damage than me, and I don't have like good spacing. So that's nice. Do you want to review this for me?
So-
just regurgitate, just to see that I know what happened.
Alright, so tip number 2 is watch for that kick, shoulder, uppercut string, and when it comes out, after the uppercut, hit him with armor, because either he's going to bring eagly out or he's not, but either way, your armor will break through it. Now, if you don't have meter, I assume you just block and take the eagly.
Yeah, you're going to have to just block and take the whole thing.
Alright, Bob, are we ready for tip number 3 now?
Tip number 3. Tip number 3.
Cool. So is this going to be the one I've been waiting for?
Yeah, right now I'm going.
Most annoying move.
Right now I'm gonna teach you how to deal with.
All right, good. So this one gets me every time because I know there's a few different options for him.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna say right now he has like 4 different options he can do with them. Really, the only 2 you have to worry about are this belly flop, and then the one where he cancels it into a jump in, which I failed. But it looks like that, and it can lead to a full combo.
Alright. So what are we going to do?
So regularly, if you just block the belly flop, it's -1.
Okay, so safe.
But, as you notice, it is an overhead, so you can't duck under it. Let's try and combo off that.
Cool.
There you go. So, his other option is a jump in, which you can also up block. Let's see what happens when you do that. You get an up block punish. So the timing on this is not exactly the same as this, where it's like -36. So you're gonna have to punish him really quickly. So right after you hear like the clank of the up block or whatever sound, like the chime of the bells or gong.
Yes, like a chime or a bell.
Or gong.
So the
really
timing is a little specific. Right, like as soon as possible after you hear the clank, that's when you start pressing your buttons to.
Cool. Alright.
So the nice thing about up blocking is it will cover both options. It will cover both this, and it will cover that. So if you up block at the same time, no matter what, you get the punish. Does it make sense?
Yeah, as long as I'm quick enough.
As long as you, yeah. So the up block time is actually the same for both of them.
So the question I have is, what about the times when Peacemaker is going to jump in and not do an aerial attack, not do the belly flop, but then land and then either grab or...
Yeah, so let's see what happens if I don't do any, you up block, and then... So what I want you to do, up block at the regular time, and I'm going to just try and press buttons, and still hold block afterwards, and let's see. My recovery is actually so long that you can... I can't punish you for up blocking.
And if,
So you should always be up blocking if you can remember.
what about if you grab there?
If I grab there, I mean, it's not gonna be a grab punish. If you start ducking after the up block, you'll actually go under it. And it will whiff. Then you can get a punish. He does have two other options. They look like this, and they look like this. Neither of them are worth it because you can just punish, but like it's not that worth it to go in depth over.
All right, so the big message on tip number 3, anti-gravity, always up block it. That'll neutralize most of his options, and if he just jumps in empty, you can always just keep on blocking, wait for your opportunity.
Yep.
Awesome. All right, so to recap, tip number 1 on the 2-2 string, you want to armor through after the 2 punches, because that'll break through either option. If you don't have any armor, duck and take the kick. On the forward 4-1-2 string, which is that kick, shoulder, uppercut, block all 3 hits and then armor through after the 3rd hit to try to get through eagerly if that's what's coming out. And then finally on anti-gravity, always up block and punish if he tries a hit. And if he doesn't try a hit, he lands empty. Keep blocking, wait for your moment. All right, Bob, well, thank you for those 3 tips. This wraps up our video on 3 tips to improve against the Peacemaker matchup. I learned a lot. I hope some of our viewers learned a lot as well. If you did, please tell us in the comments below.
Yeah, also if you have any questions or requests, you can also leave those in the comments. If you enjoyed the video and it helped you, you can leave a like. And if you're looking forward to more, this is our first in the series, you can subscribe and it'll show up on your feed and it helps us a lot.
Awesome. Well,
thank you. Well,
that's it for today.
Yeah, we have and always will be
the Orange
Team!
Eagly.